Hello everyone. In this video, I will be focusing on the Spanish colloquial language, especially the kind spoken in Spain. En español, este tema se llama las expresiones coloquiales en castellano. First of all, I would like to introduce this topic by saying that in the Spanish language there are many so-called colloquialisms which are used all the time in everyday communication. And all that means is we need to be able to recognize, understand, and use those colloquialisms in order to talk with others in Spanish. For this reason, I decided to present some of the less known ones among people who are studying Spanish because I believe there are already many resources on the most common colloquial expressions. I will be focusing again on the Castilian version of Spanish, which is the Spanish spoken in Spain again. There are many regional differences in Spain alone when it comes to the colloquial Castilian Spanish, but those expressions that I will be presenting in this video will likely be known across the board when it comes to the Castilian Spanish. This all means that I will not be able to cover even a percentage of this topic in this video, and I would like to do more than that, which means I am starting a series on Spanish colloquial language. Because there are so many other colloquial expressions that you may find useful and perhaps you'll even want to learn and use. So I don't want to make a very long video. I don't want it to get too overwhelming, and I will be releasing future videos on this very subject. So I suggest you stay tuned as I will promptly upload another part of this series. But for now, we need to focus on part 1. Así que vamos. The first expression is usually pretty useful because it tends to be used instead of the verb irse. Y esta expresión es la siguiente: pirarse de un lugar. In English, we can translate it to vire, to bounce, or to go away, as in us going away from a place. So I believe that the translation into Spanish, the not so colloquial Spanish, but still pretty colloquial, irse is kind of perfect in this example. So now that we see what this basic form of the expression is like by looking at the screen, we should just focus on analyzing this expression in examples. The examples that you see on the screen are sentences with a pretty general context for you to understand. And also, I decided to rewrite the same sentences for them to convey the same message, the same meaning, but in a less colloquial way. So the first sentence is "Vale chicos, yo me piro de aquí." In English, we'd say, "Okay, guys, I'm gonna go now." We could translate it that way, and if you wanted to say that in a different way in Spanish, we could, for example, say "Yo ya me voy." The second example for this expression is kind of rude. It's "Pírate ya." As we see, the verb in this sentence is in the imperative form, and in English we could say something like "go away" or the less nice versions of this. And another way to say this in Spanish would be simply "vete." And now for a longer sentence. This one is Los rateros se piraron del lugar de crimen justo cuando las palmas estaban por llegar. In this sentence, I didn't just use the pirarse de un lugar expression. There's also los rateros y las palmas. Los rateros is another colloquial way of saying thieves. So in Spanish it would be los ladrones. Y las palmas es lo mismo que en English, en inglés, the cops, or just cops. So another way to say this sentence in Spanish would be los ladrones huyeron del lugar de crimen justo cuando los policías estaban por llegar. I'm gonna repeat that real fast. Los ladrones huyeron del lugar de crimen justo cuando los policías estaban por llegar. And maybe once more. Los ladrones huyeron del lugar de crimen justo cuando los policías estaban por llegar. So we see here that the pirarse de un lugar expression can just be replaced by the verb huir o tal vez escapar. The next expression is enrollarse con alguien. So as you can see on the picture, there's a bar, it's the middle of the night, so it already gives us the vibes that the most, that just basically what we think of when we have in mind what it means to hook up with someone. This is the scenario that this usually tends to be initiated in. For this expression, I prepared 3 different sentences, and they all have 3 different contexts with this same expression. The first one is, yo que tú no me enrollaría con desconocidos de Tinder. In Spanish, we could say the same thing. In English, we could say it in a, we could say it like, if I were you, I wouldn't just hook up with strangers from Tinder, the app, la aplicación de citas en español. So here we're basically giving our opinion. So that's why the verb is en su modo condicional. And also this sentence could be like giving advice to somebody. The second sentence is a question. Después de cuántas citas crees que la gente suele enrollarse el uno con el otro? Here we're basically asking someone's opinion, general opinion, like how many dates do people go to before they hook up with one another? And the third sentence is kind of like a part of a story, un relato. Estaba tan borracha que me enrollé con un tío del bar y ni siquiera le pregunté su nombre. I was so drunk that I hooked up with a guy from the bar, and I didn't even ask his name. The next expression is kind of in a similar vibe. Poner los cuernos a alguien con alguien otro. So this is kind of tricky because we have a alguien con alguien. So how to translate it properly? To cheat on somebody is the person that we are in a relationship with. So it's in Spanish, it's the a alguien part. And con alguien otro is simplemente with somebody else. Here I have a dialogue, a very short excerpt from a dialogue. It's me puso los cuernos el día antes de la boda. No me digas, ¿a ti? So here one person is saying that they got cheated on just the day before the wedding, okay? And the other person cannot believe it, cannot believe that this happened to the first person. The second example for this expression is, si de verdad fuera tan fiel como lo parecía, nunca te pondría los cuernos con su colega. This is obviously a conditional sentence in Spanish. Here somebody is doubting somebody else's fidelity, the cheater's fidelity. And we can translate this sentence as if he really was so faithful as it seemed, he would have never cheated on you with his co-worker or her co-worker, because here it's actually not clear. We don't have more context to determine the gender of the people involved, just as the first sentence. We don't know if the cheater was a man or a woman. We don't know if the person that got cheated on was the man or a woman, because we don't have the context, so we can go anyway. The next expression is Esterrellado. So this can be translated as to be going crazy or any other equivalent of this expression. I have one example for this, and it's estarás rayado si crees que esto se puede hacer en una hora. You gotta be going crazy, or you gotta be crazy if you really think that this can be done in an hour. I'm gonna repeat that. You gotta be going crazy if you think that this can be done in an hour. The reason I didn't put more examples is because I think this is pretty straightforward. I'm using the estarás rayado en futuro because it's kind of like we're not asserting that somebody's crazy, but we're saying that if he really believes that this can be done in an hour, then there has to be something wrong with him. And then I said in Spanish, fíjate cómo la expresión viene acompañada de estar y no de ser. Esto se debe a que ser rayado quiere decir to be striped. So here I am saying to pay attention to how this expression is, how in this expression we have the verb estar instead of the verb ser. And that's just because there's another expression with this same word, and it's ser rayado. And this means to be striped. And here I put an example of the disambiguation. Las cebras son rayadas. Dicho de otra manera, las cebras tienen rayas blancas sobre un fondo negro. And we're talking about zebras. Zebras are striped. In other words, zebras have a black and white striping pattern, okay? So we can basically see from the images which one is what. And also, estar rayado doesn't really want to say that somebody's permanently crazy. Just like we do the same with zebras who always have this striping pattern, okay? And for today, this is all. Thank you guys for paying attention if you really did watch the video. I hope you learned something useful, something you haven't knew before, and I hope you will come back for more episodes on the colloquial Spanish language.